Welcome to Hustle to Hero. We're on episode 3. We're with the darling John Lee.
I used to work for a company called Framestore CFC as a computer animator. I was making $36,000 a year. I'm like, okay, how do I make more money? You can sell one property and make your entire year's salary like that. 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, all add up to 1,000%. These are techniques that people don't really talk about.
He's got a portfolio of real estate. He's also in tech and AI and social media branding.
Anyone really can buy a house lower and then sell it at a higher price. Putting yourself on social media is not about selling your products and services all the time. It's about opportunities that come from it. John, I saw you on social media. I've been watching all your stuff. This is how this podcast happened.
We're going to be learning how to make money through biohacking and the future of money.
I advise a lot of companies and they'll say to me, how did you come up with that so fast? Because I'm training my brain all the time to look for the holes and how to plug them. Every business I've started, the ones that do well, the ones that do bad, either miss these 4 things or have these 4 things or have an element of these 4 things. Number 1 is...
Hi, I'm Gemna and we are doing Hustle to Hero, and I'm with the multimillionaire John Lee. Not only he's got a massive experience in property, you're also an investor, you've done tech as well, you've done startup business, you're a mentor and you're a motivational speaker. How are you today?
I'm good, Gem. Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. I've literally done a lot of research about you, a bit of stalker, but I had to know about you. I had to. And what drew me in is like where you started, because when you were 27, you made your first meal. You did indeed.
Yep.
So
that's realistic.
That's exactly. So I thought, because this is like mostly about property, but also I want to diversify into about tech and AI. And you do social media branding. You talk about marketing, and AI is a massive thing at the moment. So I want to pick your brains onto a little bit of everything. So we want to start with property. So how did you start?
I started, first of all, attending seminars. So nice. I used to work for a company called Framestore CFC as a computer animator. But then I was making $36,000 a year. I'm like, okay, how do I make more money? And it's kind of like this thing, you go to school, get a job, work hard. But you can sell one property and make your entire year's salary like that. And then so my plan was to buy and sell one property, make my year's salary, and then take the whole year off. But unfortunately, when you start doing one deal, like, oh, maybe I should do another deal. And so it became very systematic. And what I realized, and I didn't get good grades. I'm dyslexic, so academically I'm not great. So if you look at all my social media, there's spelling mistakes everywhere and grammatical mistakes. So I realized that when you buy assets put money in your pocket. And so, I wasn't smart enough to become a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant. So I thought, what can I do that doesn't require that much skill set? And anyone really can buy a house lower and then sell it at a higher price. And you know what I realized? One of my first mentors, his name was Ying Tan. Right? Yeah. You remember Ying Tan? Yeah. So this guy's a property millionaire. And I was like, can you teach me what you know? Like, can you help me become a millionaire? And he said, sure. And I had to pay him £10,000 for 2 days of his time. But one of the most powerful lessons I've learned in that, and this is a 10 grand lesson for all of you, is that he said, John, you're worrying about the money too much. He said, don't worry about the money in real estate. I said, why? You need money to buy real estate. He said, no, find the deal and the money will find you. That, Jen, was like...
But didn't you prior to that, because you spoke to your partner at the time and you were like, 10 grand, can I do it for free? And you were trying to find ways, and he made a very good point. If you haven't got the 10k, how would you invest if you ain't going to put no money in? And I think that's
the thing, like, what I realized is like, it's funny because, before this was rolling, everyone was talking about, people won't blink an eyelid spending 100 grand on a car or 50 grand on a watch or 10 grand on a bag, right? But actually, when you ask yourself the question, when's the last time you put 10 grand into your head? I'm not talking about formal education. I'm not talking about university. I'm talking about what have people done to specifically put money into their head? Because that's your best return on investment, isn't it?
Of course. It's like knowledge is power as well. Like I think some people as well just think you can only learn to a certain age, especially when you come out to uni. You've been to uni, I've been to uni as well. And they're like, right, we'll just stop there. But you can't stop. And I think that's the problem. That's what age starts kicking in. Like if you don't learn, I feel like you're just going to be aging. Seriously, you always have to learn.
I don't know if you did a brain scan, but... So I did a whole, you go to Dubai and you have all these and they do all this full body scan and they do this AI stuff on your face to see, how old you're aging. So I test my brain age and it came back at 21.
Nice.
Yeah, but I can't say the same for the rest of my body. But that's the thing. It's like, it's a muscle, right? And people don't think of it. Like, people go to the gym, they'll work out. It's funny, I just did a keynote in front of all these health specialists. I mean, you look at them, they're all like 5 or 10% body fat. They're all in incredible shape. I said, you guys spend so much time on your bodies. How much of that time do you spend the biggest muscle that you have? It's in your head, right? And so the idea of this is to keep making sure that you are working on this, because the biggest this grows, everything else around you start growing as well.
Absolutely. Because you watched the film, was it Lucy? About
Yeah.
going,
Yeah, that's an incredible film. By the way.
It is as well, because it's like trying to use your brain to 100%.
Yeah.
Did you feel inspired? What did you learn from that? Have you been trying to get your brain to capacity?
Yeah,
to
I mean,
100%?
there's now I don't know if you heard of Mind Valley, but they've got these things called Mind Valley states.
Yep.
And basically, there's one like the Limitless pill where you take it and you're like, your mind's like, so there's all these different things you can do, like sleep. So that's why I wear a Whoop, and that's why I wear Ultra Human Ring, and also my Apple Watch. Right, because I want to track all the things that can, get rid of cognitive decline. Right, what can have your brain reach that full potential? Like, how do? Because people say to me, John, like when you consult, when the strategizing, because I advise a lot of companies, and they'll say to me, how did you come up with that so fast? It's like, because I'm training my brain all the time to look for the holes and how to plug them. So every time you want to create something, and it's understanding if you're a morning person, night person as well. Like, when is your dopamine the highest? Right. So for example, I knew that, waking up to come here, 6 o'clock in the morning, I knew the drive was going to be a couple of hours, right? Because traffic and 25, London. So I'm like, okay, maybe, but when do I want to have the coffee? So I time the coffee right before we do the podcast, because at that point between 9 and 10, 8, 9, and 10 is where my dopamine is the highest. So then you get dopamine rush. So now your thought process is clearer. So there's all these different hacks you can do. Like, I'm very much into biohacking as well.
Go on, please delve in.
For example, cold plunges. This morning,
I had a cold shower this morning.
Cold shower's different.
But I also do ice baths, but I'm pregnant, so I can't do that at the moment.
Not now? Okay.
Not now, but when baby comes out in September, I'll be back in my ice bath.
Yeah.
And I literally have it. I used to put 20 kilos of ice and sit in there for 15 minutes.
It's incredible.
I love it.
Yeah. And do you know why it changes your thought process?
Serotonin and the endorphins that are created.
Because basically our central nervous system, like if we're stressed, we have anxiety. In fact, if you're stressed or having anxiety, just cover your left eye.
Oh, right, okay.
Right, and it just shuts that part of the anxiety off for a little bit. Oh. Right, so if you just do that.
I'm doing this, guys. We're gonna.
Right, so you just do that. Have you noticed you feel a little bit different?
I feel a bit more calmer, to be fair.
There you go. Now you do that. Interesting, right?
It is.
Right, so all these little things like the pressure points. That's why it's important to go for massages, hydration. That's why, if you noticed, the water that I have
is right there. Yeah.
Have you noticed I didn't drink that water?
No.
Right, because this is hydrogen water. You can see all the bubbles in it.
Yeah, of course.
Right, so all the bubbles in the hydrogen water, particles are small enough to get into your cells, which means when they go in, you feel more hydrated.
Yeah, so I've heard about this hydrogen water.
So there's like all these different things, but it's like it's each part, Jem, is 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, all add up. They multiply and compound to 1,000%. That's how you can get high performance. So for me, I'm always like, how do I get high performance? Also, what you eat makes a big difference as well.
Massively, especially like with everything at the moment, with pesticides and vegetables. I've seen it all, like chicken, with bovine cows especially. And I'm just thinking, if it's not free range, if it's not from a farm shop, it's all chemicalized. And we all that chemicals.
I'll tell you the biggest one though.
Go on.
Glucose monitoring. So basically you get this thing, there's like a big needle, you stick it in your arm, you wear it for 14 days. And basically you can test in real time what you eat. Because a lot of times people, after lunch, they feel a bit sleepy, I'm tired. It's because they've not eaten, then they get glucose spike. Then it goes up, they're all excited, and then it comes down again. So if you have people who are ever feeling sluggish or tired, it's because your glucose has gone up and then down, right? Too fast. So you have to kind of level it out. So, and then you have to time it. So if I know I'm going to be flying and doing a keynote, doing a podcast, then you might not want to have that stuff. Right. You see what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So it's very strategic.
Yeah. So what else do you do to prepare? Because you're big in cold plunges. You also do hydrogen water.
Hot sauna.
Oh yeah, hot sauna, massages. But what about EMFs? Because you've got quite a few wireless devices and Wi-Fi, 5G is constantly at us and everything. How do you limit that?
So I don't sleep with any tech in my room at all.
Do you turn it off by the wireless router?
No, just like no tech in my room. It's just a bed, curtains, and a sofa. That's it.
And where do you charge your watches?
Watches outside.
Outside, yeah.
So I've got this little thing that can charge your phone and your watches and things like that.
Yeah, so because I've heard as well, like from various nutritionalists as well, they say you should always turn your wireless router off.
Yeah.
Because it's radiating so much EMF, especially with, like your Skybox, everything, mobile phones, etc. And we're always like we're always constantly like wired, aren't we? We're constantly wired. And you should always have a detox.
But that's why breath technique's important.
Do you do soma breath work?
So he's a good friend of mine.
No way!
Yeah.
Oh my God, my friend is his friend.
Yeah.
And
I was just with him in Cartagena and Dubai.
No way!
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Niraj is he's one of the best.
He's amazing. Have you done like the in to?
There's like fire breathing.
Yes.
There's like, so one of my other partners, her name is Maria Brown, and she actually learned a lot from Niraj, and she taught me this box breathing. So 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds, 4 seconds in, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds out, 4 seconds hold it. And again, if you do that 20 times, like you reset your entire nervous system. So if you go into a meeting, presentation, you want to close a big deal, you want to fire an employee, like all these things, like these are techniques that people don't really talk about.
No, they don't. And so my friend Shayna was taught by Niraj.
All right.
So, and I met him.
He's amazing.
And
he was also an amazing DJ as well.
He's so good. He's absolutely amazing. So when I met him, I came back from Ibiza on a yoga retreat, and I was like, Niraj, hi. And he's like, I said, my friend Shayna, because she was taught by him, and that's how I got into all this breath work. Because it's been a few years since Shayna really got me into it. We went to college, so shout out to Shayna. As well. So when she was telling me, she's like, Jem, you can get high in your own supply. Everyone doesn't breathe correctly. For example, everyone like breathes out their mouths, and it's like.
Well, here's a test that Maria taught me. So if you put your hand on your chest and your hand on your tummy, and just return to normal breathing, and then just take a deep breath in. Okay, what moved first, your chest or your stomach?
Well, a bit both because I'm pregnant.
Oh, okay. Well, for anyone trying this, if your chest moves first, that's wrong breathing. Your tummy needs to come out first. Yeah, because you have you breathe from a diaphragm, so you get more oxygen in.
Have you read the book about breath? Because Wim Hof has read it.
I've done a lot of Wim Hof stuff actually.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's why if you combine everything with your diet, with your breath work, even just like meditation, visualization. I do a lot of like manifesting as well.
Same.
So I don't know if you're into. Have you heard of the double slit test?
No, I haven't.
Okay, basically, you know how particles move, right?
Yes.
If you have a piece of card and you cut one, if you have a card now and I cut one square in it, one tiny square, if I shine light through it, it should project a line on the back of the wall, right? Which it does.
Yeah.
But then if you cut a second hole and you shine the same light, these particles through, it should cause 2 lines on the wall, right?
Right.
But it doesn't. It causes a wave of lines, right? So, but the problem, and the experiment is, when this experiment is observed, the wave of lines turns back to 2 lines.
Wow.
And they can't explain why. So for the sheer process of observing this thing changes the outcome. So that means when we observe the things we think about, so you want to create, a $1 billion company, right? You have to observe and manifest and then have a strategy to execution.
That's because on one of your things as well is, I think it's the 10 principles of how to be a millionaire is to, I can't remember what number, so do forgive me on that. I think it's to dream and then for you to set out a plan.
Yeah.
And I think that's very key because people do dream it, but they don't know how to get there.
It's funny because on the way here, I was listening to my friend's podcast and they're having this debate about, you have to be rich. Like if your parents are rich, then you're going to be rich. But if your parents aren't rich, then you can't be rich. My parents weren't rich. And I don't know if you came from
right? They're not rich at all.
You're a millionaire. So what I really, and this really pisses me off sometimes, is like people complain about their life, but they don't do anything about it. Right? Oh, I can't do this because of this. And you can see I get really about this because actually you can determine your life and where you want it to be. Right? You make a decision and you set that goal and you at least try. Right? Don't sit there and go, I can't do it and then not do anything.
Yeah, but it's all about mindset though. And that's the problem with people. It's broken. I'm just going to be honest now here, guys, and you might not like this, but mindset is everything. It absolutely is. And people are so weak and they have such lack of self-esteem. We're in a generation of that. Oh, can't do this, won't do this. Oh, can't get to do this job. They don't want to hustle.
No.
They don't want to do.
No.
They don't want to. No. They don't want to do the low end jobs or anything or be inspired. Is quite what I've noticed as well. It's it's a very fallen society in terms of that.
It is. And so here's the thing. And something interesting you said there. I've been doing this again for 20 years. And you can teach the same people the same strategies. Why does some go off and become millionaires and some still stay broke? Right?
Mindset.
It is the mindset. But here's the funny thing. It's the thing that everybody needs, but no one wants. Right? Because you tell them about the mindset. Oh yeah, I already have the mindset. I'll give an example. So a friend of mine, he just recently got into manifesting. He bought a book on how to manifest. He said, oh, John, this is amazing. I can't believe this. He basically opened the book of, The Secret, right?
Yeah.
And I said, well, if you really want to learn, you should go and download this app called Mind Valley, right? Because it's all about manifesting. He said, yeah, I'll do it. 2 days later, I asked him, so did you do it? He said, oh, no. I said, why didn't you subscribe? You really want to learn manifesting, right? Yeah. Oh, it's too expensive. I said, it's $500. Yeah, I don't want to pay $500. But then they'll go out and spend $500 on a pair of trainers.
Or a night out, or drinking poison. And I'm like, hold on, but you can spend, and me and Shane were saying this, and people would rather spend for like a brief moment, for like a temporary happiness, instead of the longevity. And that's completely messed up with consumerism. Like, and I'm thinking, don't you want to breathe better? Don't you want to do X, Y, and Z? Do you not want to get to the next level? Do you not want to be there?
Do you think people just lost their drive?
I think, you know what, loads of people are going to say, and they're going to probably put it in the comments saying that you're too brutal, but everyone's going to say, I've got depression, I've got the anxiety, And I think they use that as a cover up.
An excuse.
It's an excuse, because at the end of the day, yeah, people have got depression. I've had depression, but you battle through. It depends where you want to get in life. It all comes from where you are, where you want to be, and what do you want to achieve. If you want to be living like that for the rest of your life, then fair play to you. If you want to moan and be low frequency, because I'm all about high and low frequency,
me too. And a lot of people operating at very low vibration.
Oh my God.
Right? And you can feel it when you're vibrating at a high frequency, when you're around people. Like when I walked in this room, we don't know each other.
No.
But I definitely felt frequency, like high frequency. You just feel it. You just feel it with people.
Absolutely. There's so many people in society which are NPCs. How could you not see the bigger aspect in all of this? Like, why are you so focused on who's playing football? I mean, they're not paying your wages. Make your own money, mate. Do you know? No offense to people who actually do watch football. Fair play to you, but you gotta have a higher standard. And people are very comfortable. They're just being comfortable by being comfortable. And I love being uncomfortable. You got to.
You have to. That's how you grow. If you keep doing the same thing over again, that's the definition of insanity, right? I mean, people know that, but they still do it anyway. But for me, it's all about how do you become the best version of you? Like, if you just operate every single day and you're the same every day, what's the point? Like, you got to start growing, right? That's actually what the true purpose of life is growing. It's not about making money. I mean, money's just a scoreboard, right?
Yeah.
So the more money you make, the more you've grown. It's just what it is. But what are people doing every single day to get out of that situation that they're in? Instead of dwelling on it and saying, okay, I'm in this situation, what do I do about it? There's so many things you can do. Instead of saying things you can't do, what can you do right now?
Of course.
I think that's the difference.
Also, you've got a Chinese proverb, haven't you? What you say about in the boat or either...
Break the boat.
Break the boat.
Break the boat.
Yeah.
You see, here's another problem I see, Jem, is that a lot of people are comfortable. And they're just very comfortable. Like, I know people are making 2, 3 million, 4 million. I was like, do you want to make more? No, I'm comfortable. Right? Like, to get to like 10 million, you got to get uncomfortable. And to get to the 100 million, you got to even more comfortable. And to get to that billion, you got to get even more uncomfortable and manage more risk. Right? But most people are not willing to do it because they're too comfortable. You see, you should never be comfortable because you stop growing.
Of course.
Right? Like, you need to test new things out. You need to risk new things. You need to de-risk a lot of things that you do. But people are they're floating there. They're kind of comfortable. I don't have to do this, don't need to do this. But then what's the point? You're not growing.
No.
Like, you're not becoming a new version of you. It's almost like every year that you grow, you need to shed a skin of the new version of you.
It's like being an onion.
Exactly like an
onion.
It
is. It is an onion.
You got to shed these
Get
layers.
the old. Or a snake, but you got to shed.
Yeah.
You have to.
I'd say more of a diamond, actually. if you take like how a diamond's created, right?
For
you
sure.
take sand, you under extreme pressure, creates a diamond. right? And that's what I think a lot of people are not willing to go through. They're not willing to go through the pain.
Of course not. There's not many people want to go through sacrificing either. And people are like, oh, I've got motivation. But it's not motivation, it's discipline. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's truly like...
Discipline plus consistency will get you anything you want to get.
Oh, 100%. Those two work in hand. You can't have one without the other.
And so here's the thing, like people already know this, right? Then the question is, why don't people do it? So it took me 20 years to figure this out, right? You have knowledge. Everyone's got this knowledge. But then to get the result, you need to take action, right? So knowledge, action, we all know that, right? You want to get a six pack, go to the gym, eat right, knowledge and action. But it's very simple, but it's not easy. So then what's missing in between? And I was like, why is it that people cannot, you give them very simple instructions, why don't you do it? And it comes down to this one thing, I figured it out, it's clarity, right? Like you want to go to the gym, okay, I don't know what to work out today. Do I do chest, legs, arm? I don't know, I'm not going, right? But if I wake up and I go, I'm doing chest day today, I'm going. The chance of you getting there is a lot higher. So people need to, instead of figuring out what they want to do, they need to be clear on what the outcome is that they want. And people say, I want to make more money. How much more? Right? I want to lose weight, get better. But how much body? Because it's very different. Someone getting a 5% body fat versus 10% body fat versus 20% body fat or 15%, right? You want to make $1 million. Okay, that's pretty easy to do. 10 million, slightly harder. 100 million, very hard. You need teams, you need talent, you need scale. So all these things are things that people they're not doing on a consistent basis. And like you said, discipline creates the end result, right? Motivation, I do it when I want to feel like, I feel like doing it. Discipline, I do it even when I don't want to do it on my worst day. 100%.
Like today, I was like, especially where I haven't slept with everything that's going on, I was like, I've got to have a cold shower. And first thing in the morning, when you get out that blanket, you got that warmness. You're like, oh, it's so warm. Go back to bed for another 5 minutes. Like, no. Just get in there. I don't even have a hot shower. I go straight in cold. So I was like, but I had to have a little pep talk. Yeah, I have to, because I'm like, you got to get in, Jem. And I'm like, oh,
but once you're in, do you not notice that the cold stops after about 20 seconds?
Yeah, because I do breath work as well.
Yeah,
so I do breath work. So
Fire breathing?
Yeah,
nice.
I do. But I do that. And then I'd go in and then I exhale out for about 10 to 15. And I just literally go into the namaste and just breathe out and literally just there. And I'm like, for my baby, I'm like, we're just going to go through this together as well. So that's what I do. But I want to talk about your social media and AI, because that is your domain, isn't it? I just saw your Nova and that was amazing. She is amazing. Like I've also, like marketing's the basis of everything, because I've got a marketing degree.
Nice.
So I was like, everything from toothpaste, from plants, from this to sofa, everything needs marketing, the basis of it. And could you delve in, like, what is the future for social media and AI?
So here's my prediction. Have you seen a show called Emily in Paris?
Yes.
Okay, so do you know, so anyone who's not seen the show, it's basically a girl that works in an agency, but she has a social media following, but she's an employee of that company. So I'm going to be seeing less entrepreneurs and I'm going to see more intrapreneurs that work within a company. So an entrepreneur that works within a company. Now, if you look at what's happening right now, all the big brands, they're now moving to AI avatars. So for example, H&M is a classic example. They've taken their models, digitized them. So I can digitize you and put you into any pose that I want and put any piece of clothing on you that would match your specific pose. So what's happening is they're digitizing avatars. So when we talk about marketing, really what we're talking about is awareness, right? Do I know this brand? Have I heard of you before? And so my prediction is in the non too distant future, companies will have media companies attached to their actual main company. Every company needs to have that awareness. And because now artificial intelligence is getting bigger, what do people want? They want more connection. They want more authenticity.
Yes.
And they want more community and collaboration. So this is why it's so important now for every company to have a media company attached to it. Because without a media company, people don't know what you do. They don't know why you do it. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it.
Of course.
Right? And they also need to know how it can help them. So when I see this company, it's not just, for example, McDonald's. Everyone knows McDonald's.
Yeah.
But do they still advertise? Of course they do. But why? You think to yourself, why does a company as big as McDonald's still have to advertise? Because right now they're in a world of noise. There's too much out there right now.
Of course.
There's nothing cutting through the noise.
There's constant adverts. What do they say? Every 15 seconds an advert gets played.
Yeah.
Every 15 seconds.
Even now, our streaming services that we've paid for have inserted ads now. Yeah. Right? And now it's got a timer on there, how long it is.
Yeah, literally on Spotify with mine, it's like 5, 4, 3, 2. And I'm like, hold on. But I paid for you.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Got to get it in there, haven't
you have to pay it and then pay again.
Yeah, you have to.
So here's the thing. There's really, if you look at business, it only comes down to 4 things. Right? Every business I've started, the ones that do well, the ones that do bad, either miss these 4 things or have these 4 things or have an element of these 4 things. Number 1 is the ability to get awareness, right? If people don't know how good you are, it's like having a voice like Mariah Carey, but no one's ever heard you sing before. So they need awareness. You need the ability for people to come to you. So not pushing, but pulling people to you. That's number 1. Second thing is, once they come to you, how can you help them? What solution are you going to give them, right? What will they pay for in exchange for that solution or the time saving? Third thing is, okay, now that you've got these people, how do you scale it, right? So AI can replace a lot of processes. Yeah. Right. And, for example, if you want to, right now I can record a video, upload it, goes to my AI will edit it and then post it.
Yeah.
Right. So you can do that.
Yeah.
Right. And then the last one is brand building. Right. What do you want to be known for? Do people know you? Like if you take 2 cars like a Lamborghini Urus and an Audi, right? It's actually the same car. If you look underneath the hood of a Lamborghini Urus, it's got Audi parts in it.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it's basically like you look at Lamborghini Urus versus what was it? The Audi Q8. They're exactly the same shell. Interior is exactly the same. One's got a different badge on. It can sell 3 times more.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
So there was a thing on, I saw it on YouTube, and it was about this shoe brand, but all these shoes were from Deichmann.
Oh, really?
And they done this perception. They made it like a very high end, like a Prada, made it very, very exclusive. Got all the photographers. Literally every single shoe was in Deichmann, but they're completely different packaging and everything. They done like a catwalk with the shoes on and everything. They're like, oh, how much would you pay for this shoe? Bear in mind, this is Deichmann. They were like $29.99. They were retailing at £750 for a shoe, and all they did is just repackage it.
Yeah.
That's all they did. Nothing. And they were looking at the wedges like, yeah, this is a very solid shoe. You got comfort in it. I can see this is one of a kind. And I'm thinking, oh my God, perception is everything.
Perception. Well, if you look at the word PR, it's not public relations.
No.
It's perception equals reality.
It's very true.
Like, if you walk down the street, right, and you're hungry, you want to know which restaurant's good, right? One's got a big queue outside, the other one hasn't. Which one's got better food?
Well, people would go with the one with the queue, wouldn't they?
Right? You assume.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's social proof. That's why if you ever go to a restaurant, they always sit you by the window. Right? Because when people go on, oh, is it full? Is it like, if it's empty, you're like, oh, it can't be that good.
Yeah,
it's just what people think. It's the same with social media. And the amount of companies that consult and advise that they've been around for 20 years and you go to the profile, they've got like 10 followers. It's like, have you really been around for 20 years?
Yeah.
You see, so the offline now has to match the online and the online now has to match the offline. So you need both now. You cannot go without either or.
I think that's like, like for the older generation, what we were talking about, like back to the education about being Asian as well, like where we've had to go to uni and take that risk of being entrepreneurs. It's very much in there, like you're going to do this, you're going to be a best employee, you're going to save your money, you're going to do this. We don't really want you to do do any sort of risk, minimize it if you can. And they don't really, like you say about online, offline. My cousin's got a business, construction business, and I said to him, why are you not on Instagram? And he's a little bit older than me, and he goes, I don't need it. And I'm like, yeah, but mate, you can show off your work at least. Do you know what I mean? Like he does like these massive houses, and I'm thinking, why are you? He's like, I don't need it, Jem. Word of mouth gets me through it. And they're still in that mentality of word of mouth. And I'm like, you need to catch up with the times,
so funny
mate.
Because the amount of people who go, oh, my word of mouth, until that word of mouth stops coming in. It's like, what happens if it just stops?
Yeah.
Then what?
Exactly.
Right. So And you're absolutely right. This is why marketing is it comes actually when you're marketing, there's 4 parts to it, right? So if you draw imagine you've got like a quadrant. So you have like the free and organic. So you put stuff out there and you see organically. Then you have the paid, so you can retarget. Then you have the what we call our referral programs, and then you've got the joint venture partnerships. So for example, putting yourself on social media is not about selling your products and services all the time. It's about opportunities that come from it. So for example, when I came here, you're like, oh John, I saw you on social media, I've been watching all your stuff, right? This is how this podcast happened, right? And then, you know, my book deal, right? My speaking engagements, my movie deals, my TV shows, like they all come from social media.
Yeah. And I think that's the basics. And when I said to him, like, you need social media. We're in this day and age now. There's no excuse. There is no excuse. You got TikTok, you got different platforms where, well, X now, you can put out anything. I said, it's not about you like you can put yourself out there. Obviously, they need to know that you're the owner, but at least show off of what you're doing. Be renowned for what you actually do and providing value and quality.
Well, success is when preparation meets opportunity, right?
Yes.
You've got to put it out there. So, Jewel, the lady who follows me and I follow her, she's an incredible singer. And I think her name is Jules. I'll check it a little bit later. But how she's a famous singer now, right? She sings at all the big stadiums, you know, before the big football games. And so how she got that gig, a day before the person who was supposed to sing there, sing a song called Rise Up, and that person pulled out last minute. So their team had to go out and have to scour the internet for someone who can sing. They found her who sang that exact same song.
Wow.
And then they sent him a DM, say, "Hey, would you like to come, you know, sing at the Super Bowl or sing at the?" I don't think it was Super Bowl. It was one of those big NBA like football games, right? It was a ball game. I know that. But now you see her singing in front of big stadiums. Now, had she not done that and put herself on social media, she would not have been picked, and her career would not just boom.
Yeah, I think that's another thing as well. People are afraid. There's a lot of people that are afraid to put themselves out on social media because they're scared of the backlash or what about so-and-so thinks this or family members do. You know, that it's that constant living in fear. They need to sort of drown it out. I don't know what do you think of that?
Who are you making the content for? You're not making it for your family. You're making it for people who you can help and support, right? You want to become a millionaire, help a million people. You want to become a billionaire, help a billion people, right? The money in your bank account is in direct proportion to the amount of people that you've helped. So when I put content out there, it's not for my family, yes, can watch it, but it's for people out there that can really benefit from it. Then you start that ripple effect.
Yeah, of course.
You see?
And also you said, I think it's on one of your videos, you said it's 80% of people will love you, 20% people that will comment and hate you. And that's just part of the beast, you know. And I said that's just reality. Like when I've started this podcast, I'm like, I don't really care that if I have haters. Do you know what I mean?
But isn't it funny though, right? Isn't it funny, like we as creators, we've impacted millions of lives. And then we just...
I'm getting there, guys. I haven't got to a million yet. I haven't got to...
When we focus on that one person who just made that comment.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? It's a weird psychology. But here's another thing. That person actually who's a hater is actually it's your best fan actually.
Yeah.
Because they watch everything that you do and then they comment on there. They've consumed a lot of your content.
And I say, thank you for consuming your energy in me. Do you know? Yeah. And it is because when they're putting all that energy and they're using their time to watch me. And I'm like, thank you very much. Yeah. You know, I'm not wasting my time on you. Like, you have to ignore it. You have to block it out. And that's what you have said in one of your channels is you have to block it out. You have to, because I'm not going to, you don't pay my bills. And my granddad said to me, he goes, if they don't pay your bills, Jem, don't worry about them. Yeah.
You know, I've got a good technique actually for creators like ourselves when that happens. So you want to create a gratitude journal, right? And what that gratitude journal is, so I have thousands of people in my gratitude journal. So basically every time I do a talk, every time we do business, I just say, would you like to sign my gratitude journal? So they sign it, hi. And basically they leave me a message. So anytime that happens, I go back to my gratitude journal and I just read all the beautiful comments from people. It just drowns it out.
I need to do that. I'm going to
take every time.
I'm going to do that. I'm just like, right, can you write in my gratitude journal, please? Yeah, no, because it does work.
Yeah. Like, thank you, John. I just watched a video. It changed my life. One of the big ones, guys called Jackie Chan. This guy was in a wheelchair. Doctor said he would never walk again, right? Starts listening to him on this app called Clubhouse. And then he starts getting inspired. He starts getting his motivation. He goes from depression to now being inspired to do something. I just met him in Melbourne like a year ago. The guy's a multimillionaire now.
Oh my God.
And he said, John, it's because I heard you that day on Clubhouse giving a talk about anything is possible, right? You just got to put your mind to it and just do it. So it's not, you said, oh, John's motivation. I don't see myself as a motivational speaker, actually. It's like I want to inspire people to do something, right? Like it or hate it. If I say something that resonates and it changes that decision in them to do something, then my job is done.
Yeah, because also another thing, I think it's powerful as well, what you do is you've sort of held people accountable in your community as well, which is brilliant. There's no excuses. Like you said, there's plenty of ways to being rich and being financially free. You can do
Anyone
that.
can make money. It's just like, do they want it bad enough?
Yeah.
It's like people go, oh yeah, I can't pay my gas bills. I can't pay my electricity bills. Okay, work in a job. I know you've got kids, you manage your kids. Do a side hustle.
Of course.
Right? Anyone can take anything from their house or somebody else's house because, for example, let's say you've got friends who've got all this junk that they don't want. They can just go onto like Facebook Marketplace and start selling it and making an extra $300-$500 a week. That'll help.
Of course it would.
Right? But even things like, like real estate. So, find the deal and money will find you. So when I first started my real estate career, I wasn't really buying properties for myself. I was negotiating them and selling them on to other people. I'd get paid $5,000 in the process.
Well, like deal sourcing.
Yeah. So people would come to, I used to have this service called Deal Closer. Right. And I used to just make phone calls and then just negotiate people's deals. And whatever I negotiated to do, I would take 1% of the purchase price.
Nice.
Or some equity in some of the, I should have actually taken more equity in the deals, but like anyone can do that.
Of course.
Anyone can call people, have a conversation with them. And if they're not good at that, get trained up in it. Right? It doesn't cost you anything to learn. You go on YouTube, a lot of stuff for free on there now.
Everything, like if you wanted to do something and learn, there's no excuses. You can always find something. Everyone's got internet these days. Even homeless people, they've got internet on their phones, believe it or not. And like the information is out there. It's whether you want to grasp it or not.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Well, if you go to a place like India, right? So there's or some place in the world, like a lot of the people who live in these third world countries, they don't even have a roof over their head. But do you know what everyone's got?
A phone.
One of these. And they have internet.
Yeah.
And that connects everyone in the world. I have two guys from India. And what they do is they just take YouTube videos, they put them to AI, they chop them up and then send them back to the creator. And they charge $1,000 a month USD. Do you know how much that is in rupees?
That's
right. They got like 20 clients, 20, 30 clients, all paying $1,000, 30,000. So all they do is copy, paste, banks, done. Right. So people, that's the thing, like people who are living in poverty right now, people who they don't like, it's not on their radar to be able to do stuff like that. And it doesn't even take that long. Do you know anyone can create an app now?
Yeah.
I can go onto lovable.dev or Bolt and say, create me an app that can do this. Go back to a company, sell it back to them.
Literally.
It takes 10 minutes. But people don't know to do that because they've never been trained to do that.
Yeah, but do you think it's trained or lack of like, I don't know, knowledge?
Knowledge is definitely
knowledge.
Definitely knowledge.
But also like self-belief and also their self-worth. Like they might not be wanting to learn, but they want to learn, but they don't know where to begin.
Yeah.
They don't know what direction, they don't know where to go. And I do find like people, if you want to find it, if you want to be successful, you will find people out there, but they're too scared to make that leap. They just want to hang about. And also I've seen in your video as well, like where you said, cut those people out, wasn't it? Or something very similar, like the people on your phone, they don't help you to grow. They're very much, you should get rid of them.
Well, a simple question is this. I don't want to say get rid of them. Like, people can stay in your lives, but not, people can stay in your heart, but not in your lives.
Yeah.
Right? So what that means is, all you got to do is write down the top 10 people you hang around and just right next to them, are they red or green?
That's it.
Red is they're always negative. They don't believe in what I do. They always criticize. Green is they empower. So the number one question is this person in your life empowering you or disempowering you? And if it's disempowering you, well, you have a choice. Do you want it to carry on disempowering you or do you want more people to empower you? So you and I are into manifesting, right? So, but people never really talk about group manifestation.
No, you don't.
So when you hang around people who amplify your frequency, what happens? You get things faster. You achieve things faster. You get results in your life. But if you've got red people in there, it's kind of like it's throwing off their frequency. That's why it's really hard to achieve.
That's what I've noticed. If it's not, if you're not in the same boat and you're not together making the same money. You don't have that same mindset. It's so hard to be around. And I said that to Niraj and Shayna. I was like, it's so hard being with people who moan, low frequency,
BMWs.
Huh?
BMWs.
BMW.
Bitches, moaners, whiners.
That's a good one. Yeah. Literally, I thought, I can't be around them. They're drainers. They're like vampires. They suck your energy. And I'm just like, I feel like a raisin. I literally feel like a raisin. And I'm just like, I was plumped up and now I'm actually dead inside. And I have to I do cut them off. I'm just going to be out there. I cut them off. I can't deal with them. Yeah. I have a very low tolerance as it is. And I thought, do you know what? I've got a very short threshold. So you either amplify my life, help me, not like help me in the sense of doing with my business, but just, help me as a friend, help me to be, when I'm a bit down, some days I can't be 100%. That's the reality of it. I don't know whether you do, I just need that little bit of a pick me up. Like, Jim, you got this. That's all I need.
Yeah.
That's all I need. If you can't do that, then get out. Get out as well. What do you do?
I'm very selective. Very selective. I know, it's not to say that I don't hang around with those types of people. I do. It's just, I just make a choice on, I'm not going to go there if it's going to be business stuff. I'm not going to go there. Someone said to me this, John, do you have any friends that you do not speak any business to at all? And I said, yes, I have a few. But the majority are people we sit down, we mastermind ideas, we share ideas. And what happens is this process that my good friend Paul McKenna taught me. So I was having dinner with him and he's like, John, do you know, and he's very posh. John, do you know if you have a piano and you have two pianos next to each other, you play one chord and it causes the other chord in that piano to vibrate? Sympathetic resonance, right? It's the power of resonance, the power of amplification, the power of how we grow our frequencies is by hanging around people with a higher frequency than you. It just pulls you up. How do you improve your game? Play a game with someone better than you.
Yeah. And I think everything in life is frequency.
Yeah.
Everything. No one believes it, but everything is.
See, the problem is you can't feel it. You can't see it, but you can feel it.
Yeah. No, so on our last bombshell, because we can go on for hours about this with me and John about frequency manifestation.
Probably do a part 2, huh?
Yeah, we're going to have to do a part 2. Could you give the viewers 5 tips to not only being successful, but what we talked about is about social media, AI, branding is another thing as well. Yeah. 5 tips.
Well, the first thing I say to all of you watching right now, let's say you're working a job, maybe you're struggling for money right now. Let's say people don't have the money that they want right now. First thing is go out and find somebody who's making more money than you. Right? Simplest thing you can do. If you want to achieve something, you just ask yourself the question, who's done it and how have they done it? And if you have to, work for them for free. Because you don't work to learn, you don't work to earn, you work to learn. Right? If you write the word learn down, LEARN, take off the L, spells earn.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, if people want to make more money right now, and let's say you're working a job, do a side hustle. Just have a side hustle. Do something on the side, moonlight. Right? There are lots of websites like Upwork, Fiverr, onlinejobs.ph, where you can say, I have this skill and I can also freelance in this skill and make extra income. That's another thing they can do. Third thing is invest, right? The money that you get right now, well, but John, I don't have that much money. Look at what you're spending your money on. It's so funny. How many people I know that make $250,000 and still broke? I know a lot. And I say, do you know why you're broke? Why? Because you're spending on stupid stuff, right? Do you know the hardest thing about becoming a millionaire is that when you become a millionaire is to stay with the spending of not a millionaire.
I think it's all right for me because I'm just minimal.
Right? No, it's true. It's really hard to keep the same lifestyle, when you've got a lot of money. It's really hard, because you can just go, you know what? I'll give you an example. I was in LA and I'm like, okay, I need to get to Vegas at this time. Okay, let's go to LA. LAX is the worst airport. No, it's worse than Heathrow.
Really?
It's so busy. Right? I'm like, okay, or we can just take a private jet. Right? And private jet, I can turn up 10 minutes before. I'm not talking about a private jet. There's these jets now where they can have 20 people on there now. You turn it 10 minutes before, and it's only double the price of the airfare that you normally take. I'm not talking about private, but it's when you think about this, your lifestyle, because you got money, your lifestyle goes up, right? You think, oh, I can afford that, I can afford, and you start spending it. It's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. That's another thing I'll say to people. You want to make money, it's not about how much money you make, it's how much money you can keep. Sometimes that means emigrating to a different country, right? People complain about the tax in the UK. You don't have to live here.
No.
You can go somewhere else, right? So that's what I mean about people complaining. Right? Are you complaining, or actually are you doing something? And by the way, I'm guilty of this as well. Right? I'm not just saying like you. I also said, oh, why are we paying so much tax? My wife's like, why don't you go to Dubai? Maybe I should do that.
Well, I'm going to Riyadh in Saudi in May.
Right. Well, there you go.
I'm looking around.
Right. Well, there you go. And it's, by the way, I connect with some of my friends there who, they can do visas and things for people as well. But
thank you.
It's not that hard. And she did it for me like what? It took 3 weeks. Paid her this money, bank's done. Got my, so what do you want to do? That's what you all need to decide. What do you want? Because if it's not resonating, do you know, like, if you make 100 grand, let's say people, what's the average salary in the UK? What, 30, 40 grand?
I think it's 35,000.
35. Do you know 35,000, how much that is in Malaysia? 35,000.
80 something?
35,000, basic times 6. You're basically on 210,000 ringgits in Malaysia.
Wow.
Average rent in Malaysia is 3,000 ringgits divided by 3,000. You can basically live for 70 months, right? Divide that by 12. That's 6 years of accommodation.
That's mad.
So people got to think like this, but because a lot of people don't travel a lot, they don't know what's available out there. They're just kind of like stuck in a bubble.
England's not the be all and end all. It really isn't.
Well, you and I were saying over 10,000 people.
Oh, well, yeah. Literally last year, 11,000 millionaires have left the country. And I'm like, no disrespect to the UK, but the UK has fallen. It truly has. We've said this previously, didn't we?
Yeah. So that's another thing. And the last thing I would say is, people need to have multiple streams of income. Don't rely on one. Right? When I worked in a job, I was so good at my job that management started to get a bit scared, right? And so that, is this guy going to take over my job? Is he going to become lead? So they basically use, corporate politics to push me out of the company, right? So the problem with that is that if you lose that one income, what else are you going to rely on? So that's why, and here's a good tip, right? If you're in a couple, if you're a husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, use one person's income to live and use the other person's income to invest, right? That's the easiest way you can do it.
Of course.
Right? It's not rocket science. It's just people very short-termed.
It's instant gratification. It truly is. That's what I've noticed as well. I'm not thinking, you just want something like that.
Yeah.
And nothing is like that. Nothing is quick. Nothing. You have to take time. Like, again, it goes back to sacrifice, discipline, motivation. Yeah. Well, it's not motivation, it's discipline and consistency.
Yeah.
Without that, you ain't got the longevity.
But that's why people need to learn. Knowledge is it power? Kind of. But it's potential power.
Of course.
But applied knowledge, that is power. Right? Because if you apply the knowledge, you're going to figure out what doesn't work and you can do things that do work. And so this is why I think people really need to do something sometimes complete opposite to what they do. Because you never know, you might like it. I mean, I was an animator before I became an entrepreneur.
Yeah, because you worked on Harry Potter, the X-Men.
Yeah.
I know, sorry, we're both Marvel fans. Yeah. I think that's it for all the questions. Any more tips, or is that the 5?
I think one last thing, this is for all of you, make time for learning. Read, listen to podcasts, get inspired, dedicate. So I have this thing called the 30-30 strategy.
All right.
And that is basically you spend 30 minutes a day for 30 days on a specific skill. You want to learn language? Once you do that, you'll know 90% more than most people out there.
Wow.
Right? You want to learn real estate? 30-30. You want to learn crypto? 30-30. You want to learn social media? 30-30. That's all people got to do. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. Break it down to its simplest form, take action on it, and you'll get results.
Do you know what? I could literally talk to you about cryptocurrency. We could talk about blockchain. We could talk about everything.
Oh my God, I'm excited about. I not even started talking about tokenomics yet. tokenomics is the next evolution of where things are going, but maybe we'll save that for another one.
We'll have to. I just wanted to say thank you so much for being on my podcast. I appreciate you so much, and I love everything. I can't believe we know like Niraj, like he's amazing. Breath work, everything. I feel like I could talk to you for hours upon hours about everything. Again, I wish you all the best, and I know you're going to slay it because that's what you've been doing. You are a guru in your own tech field. I love that, and thank you for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me.
No worries.